Hello, family, and welcome back to the Ebony Odyssey. My name is Jermaine Long, and I am a servant of the Most High God. I really appreciate y'all coming along, and as always, enjoy the journey. Today's topic is the nature of the beast. The nature of the beast, right? And my support scripture for this is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verses 54 through 55, with another supporting scripture, John 10:10. So my thoughts on this, right, is you read through the curses that will be placed on Israel because of disobedience, because, they will go away from the word of the Lord, when they won't keep the statutes, the commandments, and the judgments. When they don't do that, you have a lot of consequences that come from that. And, it talks about, two specific things when it's relating to that. It talks about a siege, right? And a siege is like a persistent or serious attack, defined in Webster's dictionary. And it also talks about straightness. Straightness, and it's to cause distress, right? To be difficult, and to limit people as a means of resources, right? It also is a situation of perplexity or distress, in plural. That's what it's saying. So, these are just some definitions that I looked up as I was trying to get my understanding of, how, we get into this state. How did we get to this point? Because we didn't keep God's commandments, statutes, and judgments. He has placed us here. He has placed us on the bottom. He has placed people to rule over us. And he has caused us, to endure, these trials and tribulations because of our disobedience. None of this would have happened if it wasn't for our disobedience. So I always want to make sure I reiterate that. And for verse Deuteronomy 28, 54 through 55, it reads, "So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil toward his brother, and toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave, so that he will not give to any of them of the flesh of his children whom he shall eat, because he hath nothing left him in the siege, and in the straitness, wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee in all the gates." So I'm just going to hit on these topics, man, because we really just sitting here reading the word, getting into it. How does a man become untender? Right? When you're trying to deal with, one another, we try to deal in love, and because we don't understand who God is, we disobey him and disrespect him, and disregard, right, his statutes and commandments, right? And so that causes us so much internal strife within the African American community. And that's the only thing I'm thinking of right now. We are fighting against one another. And being here, I can see, it's something that I couldn't even articulate, how I could see us fighting against one another when, guess what? The people who are coming here has somewhat of the best interest to do the best that they can to support the communities that we come to, and, support ourselves in the grand scheme of it all. But as we think about this, the man that is tender among you and very delicate, you coming over here with an open heart, ready to be inviting, ready to be accepting, ready to embrace the culture. And then it turns to this: his eye shall be evil toward his brother. Your eye ends up turning evil because guess what? We never really honored God. So the people that have been scattered abroad, both here in Africa and in America and Spain, Europe, Asia, everywhere that we have been scattered, we're evil towards one another. Case in point, I have a clip that I'm going to show you guys a little bit later, and it's just going to speak to what I couldn't even put it in the word, but I'll let that clip play, and then, I'll come back with a little bit of commentary afterwards. But let's continue to break down this verse a little bit more. "And toward the wife of his bosom." Guess what? Marriage is down. And it ain't nothing but turmoil. That's what the enemy has come to do. What does the enemy come to do? "The thief cometh not, but for to steal and kill and to destroy." But what did God do? He came that they might have life and that they might have it more abundantly. But unfortunately, we didn't want to accept that. The abundant life that God had for us. We wanted to accept, what the devil had planned for us to be, a killer of other people, to steal and harm other people, to destroy other people. And in turn, all the things we're doing to the other people, we're doing to ourselves. Man, it talks about this all throughout Proverbs. The net that we are setting and the traps that we're setting for other people, it's coming back on us. So we are in a cycle of perpetual destruction between one another. That right there is just profound when you think about who we are actually serving. And toward the wife, let me get back to Deuteronomy, and toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave. Now, guess what? A lot of men are forced away from their children, and a lot of men who aren't worthy of those children leave those children, right? They either leave the children because they can't deal with the young lady that they have had a child with, or, they are just not good parents. They were not worthy of that responsibility, but it was placed on them by someone who was negligent, someone who was careless. And that's what we always have to consider, hey, it's not just one person, it's both people. And if it's both people, we have to start raising a hand and taking ownership. It's no, I was young or I was dumb or is this? No, it's just raising your hand. Now I'm responsible, because now, that puts even the child in more turmoil. But I digress from that. Let's keep going. It says, so that they will not give to any of them of the flesh. So that once he leaves the children, he ain't trying to give to them. You ain't going to get that child support. You ain't going to get that time. You ain't going to get that effort, right? But why is he doing this? Because he has nothing left from all the trouble that has been placed upon him because of his disobedience to God. Because he is the leader ultimately. He is being perplexed. He's being, disturbed. He is being, held captive by, the sins that he's committed. And in the straightness wherewith thy enemies shall distress thee in all thy gates. Everything falls apart and everybody is against you. So how do we work together? How do we work together as Black people, right? You think about that, because that's what I'm talking about today. We get to a certain point, and I'm just talking about my experience here. How do I work together with other people who look like me? And before I go on any farther, I'm going to play this clip from Anton Daniels, and then I'll come back with a little bit more afterwards. So please bear with me. Enjoy the video.
Do y'all know how disheartening it is from somebody to take from you and you put your blood, sweat, and tears into something? I remember I went to go and put a house, and this was a long time ago. This was like in 2010. And I had bought some properties in a distressed area, and we were going to fix it up, and we were going to, because my biggest thing when I moved out of Detroit at that time, because it was really, really bad around 2008, my biggest thing when I had moved out of the city, before I moved out of the city, was that, man, if all of the good people leave, then what's going to happen to the rest of the people? And so I had bought some properties in a distressed area, and we were putting a lot of money into them, and we had put like $25,000 because we had just started the project into the property. And we went and we locked it up and everything like that. And we came back the next morning and everything that we bought was all stolen and probably taken back to wherever it is that we got it from. And it was at that very moment that I said, all right, that was my wake-up call. That was my wake-up call. It wasn't fully my wake-up call because I wound up suffering some more. When I had opened up my first restaurant and I built it out and I took y'all through the journey on my other YouTube channel when doing it, and I hired people that looked like me, and I was serving the community. The people that supported me the most wasn't the people that looked like me. It was the people that didn't look like me. They were coming from far and wide in order to rock with me because they rock with my content. They had rock with the urban exploration videos, right? We was running it up, all of that. But the people that I hired, the people that looked like me, the people that was rocking with me, broke a window, stealing the phones. As soon as we would get a delivery, they would steal money. They was pocketing the money, wasn't even charging the customers because they had got so familiar with the prices, right? We missing all of the food. They caught their friends and family coming in the middle of the night. We getting alerts like, hey, who is in the store? And how come the door is not broken down? Oh, it's employees, and he in there cooking for his friends and his family. As soon as you get a delivery, it's going right out the door because they said, okay, Anton is catching on to us stealing. And so now we can see whole boxes of turkey legs and chicken wings come in, and then they going right back out the door. We like, hey, we didn't sell out of all of them chicken wings, did we? Everybody just looking like they don't know what's going on. Meanwhile, they stealing you blind. You have no clue what it's like to have to deal with people that destroy you that you actually have their best interests at heart. I feel her pain. I feel her pain. I've been through it. I went through it. This is why I'm sitting here with you today and able to hold people accountable, because all of these people online that talk all of this stuff, let me help you to understand something. They ain't never built nothing for nobody, and they don't know what you go through as a result of trying to do something that's best for your community. They don't know what it's like to be spat on. They don't know when you put $114,000 into a business or into a restaurant and they steal you blind as a result of it. They don't know the fact that you paying huge wages. Do you know I paid my people on average like $18 an hour back then, starting off? Young dudes, young women, women that got kids and children. They didn't have cars, but it was a close enough location for them to be able to walk to work. And I was paying them between $18 and $20 an hour just to start off. And they stealing from you? I was paying people out of my pocket because we had to make sure that they was taken care of early because she had to get her kid from custody and all of this other type of stuff. Can I get my check early in time? Yeah. I switched over from paying people every 2 weeks to every 1 week in order to make sure that they had money in their pocket. People showing up drunk. People that ain't never built nothing don't understand what it's like to have to deal with nonsense that you deal with in your community and from the people that look like you. But I'm going to just tell you, it happens every single day. And the good ones, just like in a relationship, are the ones that suffer the most. It's a fact, though. I never abandoned my city. My city abandoned me at that particular time. But I always been here. I always been rocking out. So all of these other people that's online talking this nonsense and this blackity black junk, miss me with it because you ain't there. You ain't never been nothing for nobody other than yourself. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of what's happening in these communities, and we not holding each other accountable as a result of it. You can steal from me, you can kill me, you can take my stuff, and then you can say free your cousin that did it, and he's supposed to do a lightened sentence just because we want jail reform? Stop it. Stop it. Should be ashamed of yourselves.
As I've been through similar things, not only do you provide places for people, for them to actually live, you pay them an actual wage, and then you turn around and you keep the amenities because you have a business, right? So the lights, the water, even cable, because you're doing certain things. And at the same time, they will give your things away as if you haven't given them anything. And this is some of the stuff that I've dealt with. And I'm like, how can a person think that this is okay when you making attempts to pay every week so that they have money, which I do, which when business is low, you still remain faithful with the pay that was promised. And they would still turn around and take the things that you have, the materials that you have, the inventory that you have, and gladly give it away and try to apologize once it's over. And it's like, how can a business function? How can we as a people come together and work toward a purpose if all we have is given away and we're not accountable for the things that we have? It takes a lot. You're sacrificing your time, your energy, your finances, your resources. You're doing all that in an attempt to get better, to move forward, to do more of the things that you come here to do, to take care of your family and to put, yourself in a good situation. But not only you, but the people around you. But like that scripture says, the heart of a man that might be tender at first will become callous. And I pray that I never become callous. I expect some of the worst things from people sometimes. And that prepares me, for when things happen. If I get the best, I'll be pleasantly pleased. But I know in this world, No one is good. No, not one. So expecting something different, it's sometimes out of the norm. But anyway, family, I appreciate you for coming along. And as always, enjoy the journey.